Hello, everyone. This is Richard Wilson from the Family Office Club, and today we're doing a member spotlight video with Michael Flight, who is a principal at Concordia Realty, who has something called a Liberty Fund, and we've never spoken or interviewed anyone who's doing what Michael's doing, so I'm looking forward to having you on here today, Michael. Welcome.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time today.
Sure, and there's thousands of real estate investment firms out there. There's a lot of people, perhaps even close to 1,000 or many hundreds that focus on net lease properties. Can you explain, though, what you're doing in that space and how it's unique from everybody else?
Well, I think I should probably go back a little bit. We've been in business, Concordia Realty's been in business for about 30 years, and we've specialized in retail real estate. And so through that time, we've worked with a lot of institutional partners. And so the thing probably about, I'm going to say around 2017, 2018, we noticed two things that were going on. Number one, there was a lot of disintermediation with retail on e-commerce. And so that was affecting and eroding the sales and the profits of our typical tenants in our shopping centers. And then number two, we noticed that there was a lot of stuff going on with the blockchain. And so one of my questions was to a few people that were doing a lot with cryptocurrency. I said, what's the point of the cryptocurrency? Because my understanding is you're trying to go away from fiat currency, but there's nothing backing it. So at the end of the day, it still seems like it's a little bit fiat, although I understand there's algorithms and things behind it. But I said, why can't you tie a piece of real estate to, cryptocurrency to create what they would now call a stable coin? And then I started thinking it through further. I said, what if you created a net lease portfolio, geographically distributed, industry distributed, and credit distributed, and so that you got this real stable thing. So you basically get crypto with cash flow, although my partners don't like me to ever say crypto, anytime, they prefer it's real estate on the blockchain. Right. So we started investigating it, and there's been an evolution. So there's now a thing called a security token, which is a regulated security, but it's traded and it's a digital security. So that's kind of how we got to that.
Right. Yeah. Really interesting. Many people my age or older are skeptical of anything, crypto or blockchain, or is it real? Is it practical yet? But what I'm hearing you say, if I understand this right, is that, people are, many global currencies default, like the average life of a currency is 13 years or something. I've probably seen that infographic. And people get worried about how there's nothing backing the dollar. And what you're saying is like, well, with a crypto, it's supposedly hyper secure. But at the end of the day, all that's backing it is some trust that we're going to believe the value of whatever coin is going to go up just from momentum and demand. But what you're saying is that if there was an actual hard asset that had a tangible, liquidatable value in the marketplace that produces cash flow, and everyone points to that thing and says that's worth something all day long, at least at some value, then even if you're off by 25 or 30% on that valuation because of fluctuation, at least it has a hard value that produces cash flow and can be marked to market in the real world. Is that like at the core what you guys are doing?
That is it, bingo. Because it's like, well, the most stable asset is gold, but gold doesn't give you cash flow. And the real estate is a tangible asset. And then what we really like about the net lease sector is we figured out it's like, these are basically just bonds wrapped in real estate. So you get the credit of these tenants. And like I said, if you get it, well enough diversified, you really get, ultimately what we're trying to create is this stable, portfolio of properties that's just going to cash flow for somebody. And it's going to be a tradable item. So we can get into that later, or we can get into that now, however you want.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think you're light years ahead of most blockchain people that either confuse me or sound like they're preparing for something that's going to be 3 to 5 years in the future, but is not really active now or realistic now, or just going to take huge public adoption to be workable now. But yeah, why don't we jump into some of the mechanics then, and kind of your value add process, or an example of how that works.
Okay, well, first of all, a security token is different than what was happening earlier, which was ICOs. A security token is a regulated security. So it's in the United States, a U.S. investor, it would be a 506c accredited investor investing in this. And then a foreign investor, it would be a Reg S thing, and then they'd be regulated by their particular domicile where they were at. The thing that we really like about the security token is you take all the benefits of that regulation and you get something that is tradable worldwide. So what our model was before is we were doing syndications and somebody's locked into it for 5, 7, 10. I know some people that can't get out of, my father has an investment from 1984 or so that I think is finally going to go belly up, but he never was able to get out of that syndication. With this, you have a tradable asset. So in the United States, there's a regulation, but after 1 year of holding it, you could actually trade it, and you could, like if you held a security token or wanted to buy it, we could go peer to peer, and I could say, here, Richard, you can buy my share. I could divide my share. That's the great thing about tokenization, is you can split it up. Or I could go, and there's exchanges happening out there right now, and so those are still in their infancy. And so I'm not going to say that there's a huge liquid market out there, but there are people out there that are doing big things in the exchanges. Overstock is probably the biggest name out there doing a lot with security tokens.
Okay, and to back up one step, if someone's listening to this and they're just wondering, single tenant net lease, is it similar to like a triple net type relationship where basically there's, they're paying for all of the, upkeep, maintenance, build out, taxes? Is that pretty much the type of thing you're going after?
Excellent question. So a net lease is different from your apartment lease in that a net lease, the tenant pays you rent. And the net leases are typically longer term leases. So they're anywhere from 10 to 20 to 25 years. So that's where I was talking about how it's similar to a bond because it's a long stream period of cash flow. But the other great thing is that you minimize your risk because the tenant pays, the nets are the taxes, the insurance, and the maintenance. So you can remember that by TIM, which is net, or taxes, insurance, and maintenance. And so basically you're just getting the cash flow from the income.
Right. Okay. And we could have some potential strategic partners for you within the Family Office Club, maybe some potential investors. What's your next couple steps for this in terms of like, has it launched? Is it about to launch? Who could get you big distribution that you'd like access to? Obviously, it sounds like there's going to be an offering for people to potentially invest in, of course, the way that you're referring to it, I'm guessing. But can you provide us a little bit more framework around that, just for how people can interact with you and be helpful?
This has taken us a little bit longer than launching a normal fund because we had to figure out the technology stack. But we now have the technology stack. We plan on launching the fund sometime mid-September. And if somebody wanted to invest in it, they could come to us, but we are going to list it on a platform called Securitize. And Securitize is basically a security token and a crowdfunding platform all at the same time. We've got a strategic joint venture partner with a group out of Atlanta that does a lot of hedge fund management. They're Stonegate Management, and they have a new fund management, which is Catalyst, which they're just bringing out right now. So we're going to be one of the first security tokens working with Catalyst. So, so that's, if they wanted to contact us, we could work them through the whole process. Sure.
Great. Okay. Well, definitely we're focused on commercial real estate, rolling forward. We're doing more and more in that space. So I'd be happy to see what type of strategic connections we could help with, or,
we'd love to do that. Yeah,
investor lead. Yeah.
We just think that this is such a stable thing, and it's not going to be like the knock it out of the park IRR development returns. But if you're looking for stability, security, and liquidity, this is where we believe our sweet spot is.
Yeah, I like the combination. Obviously, I haven't gone in and looked at every single letter of your offering docs or anything, but I like the combination of new technology with conservative sleep at night, high conviction approach. That's the type of stuff that family offices like to see in general, is that type of secure, well thought out, conservative person's approach to applying a new technology. Not just a bunch of whiz bang, we're going to change the world and, give birth to a unicorn that does self-storage and multifamily at once or something, and no one can make sense of it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've, I've got just a fantastic team of younger guys, and, every once in a while it's like, well, we could do this. It's like, this is what we do.
Right.
This is what we do. So,
right.
But I love their enthusiasm. I mean, you really, that type of energy, they just keep you going.
Yeah, I think it takes both to be successful in the niche that you're in. So I wish you the best of luck with that. Before we round out the interview, though, is there any other insights that you wanted to get across? Something that's, when you sit down and have a cup of coffee or a Zoom call nowadays, I guess, with somebody, is there anything else that you want to get out of the way that causes confusion, or something that's most important to know about you, the team, or the platform that you haven't got a chance to articulate yet?
I think one of the biggest questions that people ask us a lot is this pandemic resistant? And we started our portfolio model in early 2019, and we were focusing on medical, what we call medtail. And we expanded that because it wasn't a big enough market. And so the industries that we're investing in, and like I said, we had this in 2019, it is pandemic resistant, it's internet resistant, it's service providers, they're essential businesses, daily needs tenants. And the great thing about these properties is they're like high traffic, high volume, desirable properties. Even if the tenant leaves, our secret sauce is we can release it because we've been doing this and we've got relationships with tenants, developers, and everybody else in the industry.
Right. Okay. Great. Well, I'd be happy to help with anyone who wants to connect with Michael and his team. If you're part of the Family Office Club, want to learn more and get involved in some way, or see about investing with them or co-investing in something, just let our team know. But also, Michael, where could they reach you and your team directly? To prefer to reach out via your website, or?
They could go to our website, which is libertyfund.io. And then they could also reach me directly at michael@libertyfund.io.
Okay, great. I appreciate you being an active member here in the Family Office Club, and we're happy to push this out, via our network, just kind of spread the word about what you're up to and keep in touch as you grow this. I think it'll be exciting to watch your growth. I appreciate you being part of the community.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting us. We really appreciate this opportunity.
Sure, great. Thank you.